Kids, you would not believe how many times I have called this game, getting my hardware to work, and getting this out the door. This is our first replay, 47%er being played by Golf Dude 3 of the Essex clan, otherwise known as my good clanmate Walt. He is in the much maligned Lorraine 40T Tier 9 French medium tank with the 6-round 100mm autoloader. Walt's tank is French and naked. I think this tank has a bit of a bad rap. I actually quite like it. It's quite mobile. No, it doesn't have any armor. It's a medium. That's not a necessity. Doesn't have a big alpha of some of the other Tier 9s, but it does have 6-round autoloader. If you like the 5100, this plays very similarly, except it's smaller. As fast, if not faster, I think. And the gun handling's a little better, and the gun is flexible. 8 degrees of gun depression, kids. That's pretty fantastic compared to the 5100, certainly the 5120. So, Walt is dragging us out to the one line to work the western flank, popular location for mediums, lights, quick TDs. And he's met quite quickly by the T-44 and the enemy team, who's gone really deep. And Walt's going to make him pay. Now, if I have one criticism of Walt's play in this game is that he exposes too much of his tank. Ouch, ouch. But in 3 shots he puts away the T-44 with help from his teammate, but he's taken 2 shots, one from the Mutz and one from the Comet. And he's got 3 shells left in the tin. 3 shells, wants to make use of that. The other thing I noticed here, Walt's got a small repair kit and a large med kit, and I highly recommend that for your small crew French tanks. I can't put 2 into the T95E2, great, and then throws one away against the top of the IS-3, and the tin is empty. He's got to get loaded, and I like what Walt does here. He pulls away to just go work another flank, relocate, use the mobility. Don't sit there hiding behind a rock and wait for Artie to smash you or for the other team to rush you while you're reloading. Just get the hell out of there, and he does that. This is great. But I highly recommend the medkit because in so many of these small... This only has 3 crew members, and I believe every single one of the crew members is a loader. It means you lose any one of your team members, you're not only losing their first skill, but a loader. It's apocalyptic if you lose a couple crew. Alright, I like what he does here. He took his time on the Ferdinand, puts in the tracking shot when the Ferdinand can't shoot, angle his gun back, puts 2, and then 3, and do we have 4 that go in? Yes, we do. Alright, we are only 2.5 minutes into this match, and Walt's got 2,659 damage and 2 kills. Alright, 2 shells still left in the can. Walt hates to waste, hates to waste. So we go back over here and see what we can see, and we've got a very brave and stupid T95E2 pushing up there, all full of weak spots, and Walt puts 2 into him, putting him away for his 3rd kill, and he takes a smashing hit on this flank from the T95E2 and the Comet. He's at just a little over half of his health. Here he goes relocating again, smart move. Because he doesn't actually have, like, he's got a Potato E75 and a Jagdpanther 2. Jagdpanther 2 is not really in a great position. There, he's dead. And the E75 is a bit of a potato. The other thing I noticed here is the T49 and the Mutz went around what I thought was a flanking maneuver here, but they're not getting shot at. So there's not really much domination by the enemy team taking a look from that hill down over here to this side. So Walt's smart, and you side stuff, outflank these guys, come from a new position. And the opposing team on this flank is pretty beat up. Alright, so we see the Comet here, and Walt tracks him and does damage. 1, 2, 3! Comet puts it into him, but he kills the Comet, and the Mutz is a 1-shot here, and Mutz has no armor, and bam! Walt tidily puts him away. 2 shells left in the can, more than enough to put away the IS-3. Walt gets 1 in his butt, and then the Potato E75 steals the kill. Walt has 4,060 damage. And we're 4.5 minutes into this game. Potato E75 is going to push the flank. Walt is relocating. Looks like he's going to hunt out more damage. by going back to the cap. And you can enjoy some of the mobility that this tank has here. Big slope, he slows down to the high 30s, but this thing will, on flat, get a little above 60. And here we go, cruising down the hill. Oh, we're at 60, I guess. Pop it up a little bit, but ground isn't that soft. But anyway, good speed for a medium tank. And the Tortoise is defending the base against an M46 Patton and a Tier 7 heavy tank, the Soviet IS. Our Panzer Mutz is in the base. T-49 is going out to take out their arty. Very nice. And the Mutz has less than a minute left on the cap. And the IS and the Patton have just done away with the Tortoise. And it looks like they're trying to make their getaway. Oh, they're getting shot by... I'm not sure who. Oh, they just slip away. And Walt is... Oh, it's still the Tortoise. Still the Tortoise, who I believe is using the 20-pounder. Hasn't yet upgraded to the 120. And the Tortoise is done. And here Walt overexposes his tank again a little bit, but puts a nice one into the IS. Takes 2 shots in return, puts another one to the IS. Has a little share for the Patton, but doesn't really back him off. Puts away the IS, but is destroyed by the Patton, but secures his top gun. 6 kills, 5,275 damage, nearly 9k win 8 for this game. Fantastic result. That is how to play the 40T. Hey tankers, and here we have a game with my buddy clanmate Montanagrizzly, aka Sean, in the Cromwell B, and he's in a pretty even match, much like the last match we watched. They have a Bulldog platoon on their team, which is interesting. I'm sure a lot of these guys were glad that they were on Himmelsdorf. And this is a pretty good result, no disputing that, but it was kind of funny how it happened. So you can see that Grizz is having a little bit of a problem here, and it's mostly because if you watch his ping rate, it's as bad or worse than what is reported above. His darling wife was streaming a movie, not leaving him with much bandwidth, but he still wanted to play, and one of the Bulldogs with the Latin temper has really taken umbrage at his driving so poorly. So you can see there he's diving into the 200s, if not more from time to time. I believe the way his tank comes, completely out of his control, it was probably spiking higher than that. Just not showing up in the replay. But Grizz makes the best of his situation and limited bandwidth. Cromwell B is a hell of a tank. If you don't have one, you owe it to yourself to get one. It is a Tier 6 medium tank that moves like lightning. Doesn't have enormous gun flexibility, but the maneuverability is great. Pen's pretty good on it. Alpha damage is alright for a Tier 6 medium. I know I can always fulfill a role with this tank, whether it's spotting, flanking, not so great in corridor punch-outs and city maps, but you're going to see Grizz does alright. Alright, so he hasn't done any damage yet. And the only damage he's taken was from running into a Bulldog, which is probably his fault. Well, or Charter Communications, one or the other. But you can see he's playing patiently here. He knows if he goes out there, he's a dead man. Those are a lot of very big guns, and he's not a very big tank. I've certainly one-shotted my fair share of Cromwells in my OI. I'm sure the OHO would have no trouble, but Grizz goes over the top! Bravely, not penning, sitting there in front of the 25-2. He does put one in, and he's got KV-2 at the disadvantage here. KV-2's turret, slow as molasses, allows Grizz to just move around at his leisure and punk the crap out of this massive Tier 6 heavy tank, who he sets on fire, which speeds up the process of taking him out. The score is 6-4 already. Look at all the death. Not afraid of KV-2s, are you, Grizz? especially if they're not looking at you and they've just fired. It means you've got at least 20 seconds to go and make work of that guy, and with your speed you can go get him. Oh, some stunt driving. That's more than likely. Actually, that's probably just how Grizz drives. I know that the ping isn't great, but Grizz does drive like that. That's 2 KV2s he's put away. Not bad. We're looking at 1,606 damage. For a little tank, that's pretty nice. And Grizz is looking around for his next victim. An IS-3, that's ambitious. That is ambitious. And the IS-3 has bigger quarry to worry about, bigger problems to worry about. Did he take his track there? Alright, good decision, Grizz. Get away from the big old bad IS-3, who's now dead anyway. AT-15! That could be bad. But the AT-15 will not match the Cromwell for speed. And the AT-15 just appears to think, okay, just ignore this cat. He's bouncing off me. Well, that didn't bounce. Not altering his course one bit. Nope. Nope. Ass Master. Grizz is the Ass Master. Alright, we've got enemies on our cap. It is 11-6. Looks like they'll take care of that. But this AT-15 doesn't back into a building or anything. He just continues to let Grizz pump shots into his fat, less armored behind. 2,823. Thank you, AT-15. Just letting him remove all of his health one shell at a time. And it's actually the friendly Yank Panther that takes a shot at Grizz, more than likely shooting at the AT-15, and Grizz got in the way. But that is how you print what's coming up next.